All right, guys, thanks very much. I'm down here on the track with head coach Danny Cowgill out of Daphne, Alabama, defensive coordinator down there during the when you're not here. Coach, talk a little bit about what you've seen from your team this week heading into this first game this morning.
Well, the goal was to improve them fundamentally throughout the whole process. That way they can go back no matter what scheme they run. It's still blocking and tackling and defeating blocks. So depending on what scheme they run back at home, they'll get better, in the fundamental aspects, blocking, tackling, and shedding blocks.
Is it sometimes a challenge since they already know maybe one offense teaching them another offense here or something like that? Or do you ever encounter some type of problem where they might not be able to ingest all the information you're teaching them here at the USA Football Camp?
Reach block is a reach block. A trap block is a trap block. A 9 route, a post route, that's all the same. Now, I may call it tomato, they may call it tomato, but once we get through that terminology barrier, football's football.
And last question, Coach, who surprised you this week in your teachings?
There's young man Brian Bond playing defensive line, and he's going to be a good football player. Terrell Lindsay is a free safety for us, outstanding player. And we got a running back, Golick, that's a pretty shifty dude. Our coaching staff, I'll tell you, they have done a great job. The Spinner brothers, Tyree, RG, Bryson, they're local guys. And I'll tell you what, I think those guys have an advantage now because they're a sharp bunch of guys. Then, I got Tommy Polly, Coach A, Chad Louisville. Those guys have done a great job. All I had to do was referee arguments.
Coach Danny Cowgill, thank you so much. Enjoy the first game.
You got it. Appreciate it.
All right, back to you guys.
We are live at Johnny Unitas Stadium on the campus of Towson University in Baltimore, Maryland for USA Football's 2015 development games. Of course, our first matchup today will pit Chris Merritt's white team versus Danny Cowgill's red squad. Hi, football fans. I'm Jeremy Huber, joined by my broadcast partner for today, Emery Hunt. And Emery, of course, folks tuning into this matchup, maybe not knowing exactly what it is when we come to these games. Basically, it's the last step before these kids can make the U.S. national team.
And this is a great opportunity for these guys to showcase their skill set in front of a bunch of coaches, a bunch of other players, guys across the country to get to that USA team that's going to play next year in Texas.
Yeah, and it should be a fun game. A lot of guys looking for a spot on this team, looking to show off their wares, as you said, and just looking to play some football. These kids just love the game of football.
Like I said, this has to be fun for these guys, being out there, putting on Team USA's colors, being able to play in front of a great crowd here today at Towson University.
And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at our players to watch in this one. Of course, our team for Team White brought to you by Siege Sports, the official uniform provider of the U.S. national teams.
Well, you look at Jonathan Speltz, running back, outstanding player. Got the chance to see him yesterday at practice. Great speed, great footwork. Interested to see him out here today against the red team.
And, of course, you see the guys on the red squad as well. Jared Wagenhofer, good quarterback there. Jaden Brunson as well. A lot of good guys on both of these squads. Flipping it over now, looking at our coaching staff. Those brought to you by Just Play. Just Play, our sponsor of our coaching staffs today.
Great staff here. You see Johns Hopkins University, well represented. And that's a pretty good football team at the Division III level, outstanding program, and they should have a good season this year. The big reason why is they're well coached.
And, of course, Columbus High School's Chris Merritt been with the USA football program since really its inception. Let's switch it over and look at our coaching staff for Coach Cowgill's team.
Well, you look at Tommy Powley's the big name right there, the former NFL player of the St. Louis Rams, doing a great job coaching those guys down at St. Francis Academy.
And, of course, as you see, a lot of guys from Avalon School, one of the schools, pretty good program in the Washington, D.C. area. So definitely some good coaches that these guys are learning under. And, of course, that means a lot when you come out here. You'll want to go ahead and learn from the best.
Exactly.
Now you look at the white team getting ready to take it out on the field. Of course, very special here being USA football. They have the flag that they bring out as well. That honor going to Ryan Wheaton, number 78, but also the captains for this squad, Ben Tauber, Brandon White, Eric DeMeo, and Michael Krajewski. Also on the other side of things, you see the red team over there, coached again by Danny Cowgill. Their flag bearer, number 11, Gerald Filardi Jr., and interestingly, with Gerald Filardi Jr., that name might ring a bell to some folks. His father was a linebacker at Penn State.
Right, and Penn State is what, linebacker. You don't want to tick off anybody out there, but they have produced do anything in the summer. These guys are here playing football, so they really have to love it, and it's a good thing to see.
His coach, and really, again, a wonderful matchup today on a wonderful venue, this Towson University Stadium, just a United Stadium here at Towson, a wonderful venue, and these kids, I'm sure, are very happy to play. We talked about some of the captains earlier. We'll refresh them for you. All for the white team, again, coached by head coach Chris Merritt, and number 9, Ben Tauber. Also, number 22, Brandon White, number 52, Eric DeMeo, and number 63, Michael Krajewski. And then on the other side of things for the red team, coached by Danny Cowgill, Mike Golick. Also, number 20, Terrell Lindsay, number 74, Brian Bond, and number 93, Riley Holland. So, captains out the middle of the field. Again, as you see, the white team wearing all white today, the red team wearing all red, and, of course, sharing that USA football helmet. The white team will receive, and they'll go ahead and start on offense. And some interesting rules when it comes to the start of the game, Emery, where really the special teams not exactly live.
Exactly, and you don't want to get too football-y, so to speak, in these type of games, because it's really all about technique. And if you are not able to practice special teams in which live contact is involved, you just want to keep it simple to where guys can just execute and be at their best.
And we'll see the kickoff here. We'll see the kickers go through everything and kick it. We'll see where we'll have return men catching the ball, and then after that should be a dead ball, and we'll see where they spot it afterwards. But again, but as you said, that's important because one of the first notes we got from the folks, this is a development program, and actually they're going to start on offense. They will not go with the kickoff. So we'll do punts though. Those will be live in this will not be live. They will be as we said, kind of pseudo live, if you will, where the punter will go through all the steps, will do everything, and they'll catch it, and that'll be the spot of the ball right there. So almost ready to get this one underway here from Towson. Glad you could join us here at the U.S. Development Games. Starting quarterback for the white team today will be Ben Tauber out of Glastonbury, Connecticut. He'll have 3 wide receivers and a back next to him. Going to hand off up the middle, and not much gain there. Justin Prim will be brought down by the big front of the red team.
Yeah, you look at the defensive lineman, Brian Bond was in on that tackle from Upper Montclair, New Jersey, a Jersey kid. But that's the one thing I was interested to see was how well this offensive line and defensive line get out there and get after one another.
Yeah, Bond, again, good size, class of 2017, so he'll have 2 more years left at the high school level. In this game, a lot of your guys here, the 2018s, the 2017s, so some guys who will have some more years in this USA football program.
And it's good to have those guys out there getting repetition against top talent across the country.
Again, 3 wide receiver set for Coach Merritt's squad. Tauber looking over the defense. And now he'll scramble, get away outside, looking for someone, just going to throw that one away. I think maybe thinking, make sure only my guy can get it if he can.
And the good part about these all-star games, during the practices, you're not allowed to hit the quarterback, right? So you want to see how these quarterbacks are going to function in a live game when they're actually going to get hit. And now these guys are going to have to, the defensive players are going to have to make sure they wrap up and not just tag the guy. That could have been a sack right there, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get those kinks worked out as the game starts to roll because he's still in practice mode right now.
You see Jip Bond again putting some pressure on there in the backfield. So looking at a 3rd down here for the white squad, as they'll go ahead and look to convert on the 1st down. And they have 3rd and long situation here. They'll send 2 receivers up top. Johnson will be joined by Rashawn Bray out of Columbus, Georgia, and 2 receivers to the bottom as well. Tauber going to throw it out in the flat. That one incomplete as he looked for Rashawn Bray. Couldn't connect, and the white team likely going to send on the punting unit.
And Rashawn Bray is a big kid. That's a big guy out there, wide receiver. They went with a single high look, man coverage, and they kind of dictated where the white team wanted to go with the football.
So now on to do the kicking. Bentley Faulkner out of Greensboro, Grimsley High School. Plays soccer, as a lot of the kickers do. And you see kind of modified where they'll send a few guys back like you might see at the lower levels of youth football, trying to make sure that there's no bounce and no roll. A little miscommunication there as two players for the Red Squad don't really go after the ball. Terrell Lindsay and Zachary Thomas kind of, I got it, you take it, gave some extra yardage up.
And that was a really good punt. Really got a good turnover, and it actually, he tilted it toward the left sideline, which was excellent.
Went 3 and out, while the red team actually got a couple. So just a few minutes gone here in our matchup between Team Merritt and Team going to stay with Tauber under center. Of course, we'll see all these guys get some time throughout the game. Well worth it after their week of good play. That handoff going to be stuffed off tackle for not a lot as Jonathan Speltz of Rochester, New Hampshire, going to be brought down for a minimal gain.
Defensive line is doing a great job resetting the line of scrimmage. I tell you right now, that defensive line of the red team is playing some outstanding football. Great ball get off. The defensive end set the edge, created the lane for the backer to come up and make the play.
Seeing these guys up front for that red squad really getting in the backfield, as you said, and kind of playing on the other end. I believe Vincent Woodard of Accokeek, Maryland, the guy kind of getting that penetration up the field. A lot of folks in this game, mostly from up and down the eastern seaboard, though we do have some outliers. Have a couple guys playing in one of the 3 games today from Oregon, a couple from California, and I believe a few from Texas as well, but a lot of New Jersey, a lot of Virginia, a lot of Maryland you're going to see in this contest, also some of the New England states. Now scrambling for his life and getting loose and maybe getting a positive gain, actually can get some good yardage out of this and brought down just short of the sticks as Tauber running for his life at one point, then made something out of nothing.
Listen, and that was a great job showing, good understanding of where everybody was on the field, because he really navigated his way, set up the blocking almost like a punt return. He was able to pick up a big gain. You see right here, he's slow playing it, coming across. That's a play before, but that was a great play by the defensive line like we mentioned. But the quarterback, again, set up the blocking, came back across the field and was able to pick up nearly a first down.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching, I believe, a special on the greatest Pittsburgh Steelers on the NFL Network, and they showed, of course, the Troy Polamalu punt return against the interception return against the Ravens, where he did exactly that. Just kind of weaved his way through the team, and Tauber looked a little like Polamalu there without the hair. Tauber going to take it on the read option up the field. He'll have first down yardage and a little bit more out to the 35-yard line. So Tauber using his feet instead of his arm to get the first.
And Tauber is showing a little bit of moxie running the football, putting that shoulder down and getting that first down. And again, he had a lot of success. This is the play before we talked about. Just slow played it. That's a guy that understands his athleticism and knows that he can make that play and was able to do a great job 2 plays ago.
Yeah, Brian Bond saying that's not fair. Had him kind of in the backfield. But, again, good job by Bond. You see him on our replay. He was right there to make that tackle if Tauber cut back. Again, we talked about this in the pregame. A lot of effort. These guys all love playing football. You're not going to see a lot of guys taking plays off. Tauber back to throw. Going to throw that one out and incomplete as reaching high for it and not be able to bring it in. Asher Titus as the pass was broken up by the corner.
Great coverage out there on the flanks by the cornerback. Did a great job keeping that receiver in that 5-yard area. Good bump. Rolled his outside shoulder. That's a great play by the defensive back. That's how you coach it up.
Mark White, local guy out of Baltimore, Maryland, on that coverage. White out of Archbishop Curley. One of the, obviously in the D.C. area and the Baltimore area, some very good private Catholic high schools, and that's one of them. 2nd and 10 for Coach Merritt's White squad, and see some procedure here, and we'll see our first flag of the ball game. Let's see who it goes on.
Looks like he switched up that count, drew the guys offside.
Referee going to say offsides on the red squad, so a free 5 yards for the white team, and that's going to help them out and keep this drive going that's got a little bit of momentum.
You look at the defense of the red squad, very aggressive. We've seen tight man coverage. We've seen the defensive line fire off the football. You want to see on the other side, will they start to throw your screens and maybe throw a draw in there at some point to try to neutralize this rush?
2nd and 5. Need to get it out to the 45-yard line for a first down. 3 wide receiver set, back in the backfield, handoff. Trying to pick his way through and not finding a lot of success is Speltz as he'll be brought down for a 1-yard gain.
Brian Bond is definitely making it himself known today early on this ball game by chasing down the quarterback, stonewalling guys at the line of scrimmage. You see right here, maintaining the line of scrimmage, being able to disrupt and make that play. That's a great job by Bond.
And it's funny, in some of our pregame things, you were kind of talking about guys at this level. You can tell they're good when they can kind of discard with their hands. Bond did a great job right there.
Excellent technique right there. Again, this game is about technique, and he's showing all of the levels that you want to see from a defensive lineman.
Again, Bond out of Montclair High School in Upper Montclair, New Jersey. Fake the handoff, keep on the read option, some room to run, and diving for the first down will be Tauber, and he should have it.
Tauber gave the defender a little dead leg right there, be able to make a miss and dive forward for the first down. You see right here on the replay, give him a little hesitation, a little Antoine Walker from the Celtics, dive forward for a first down.
Tauber out of Glastonbury, Connecticut, goes to Kingswood Oxford School. Going to see, as we said, a lot of guys up and down the eastern seaboard playing this game. Also some Florida guys, some Georgia guys as well. So you can almost call this the I-95 Classic if you want, because the guys just kind of get on down and get down here or get up depending on which way they were coming from. 4 wide receivers for Tauber, looking it over on a first down. He'll go back to throw, trying to set up a screen. That one's going to be incomplete as he was looking to get it out to Rashawn Bray out in the flat. And again, another good play by the defensive backs of the Red Squad.
And you saw right there, that was a combination of, okay, we have to beat the pressure with a quick play, a screen. But again, the pressure of the Red Squad has been able to disrupt everything Team White wants to do. A lot of the big plays that come from Team White have come from Tauber running the football.
Yeah, Tauber really has gotten the job done with the legs. The passing game almost been non-existent here, really, for the White Squad, with coming up on our end of the first quarter here. As we look in this one, and again, we see both teams on the same side of the field. Interestingly, again, we'll to see all these guys are practicing together, so shouldn't see any issues with that. But again, just kind of maybe an interesting look for you as you see it on your screen. The 4 wide set here. Tauber again back to throw. Again goes over the middle, and again has trouble hooking up with Bray, as that one a little bit right in front of him just couldn't hang on.
And playing aggressive defense is all about attitude. And you see the great attitude that the red team is playing with. They're flying around the football. They're in the faces of the receivers. Linebackers are doing their job versus the run. D-line is firing off the football. And as you see here, look how quickly they close in on the receiver. Had he caught the football, it would have been a stop right there for a minimal gain. So this team has been playing great defensively, great team defense all around by the Red Squad.
That was Matthew Corton coming up, and going to have another timeout. So teams will think this one over. Again, here at Towson University, just outside of Baltimore, Maryland, at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Yes, it's named after the former Baltimore Colts quarterback, again, a legend in these parts. And Towson, a program that really has done some very good things at the FCS level over the last few years. And again, these facilities are just a wonderful place to call a game like we're doing, or come out and watch one. And I guess I'm sure these kids really liking what they've been able to experience here at Towson this week.
Yeah, I took a stroll through the campus yesterday. I was amazed how well put together this campus is, and this football facility, and what they've done over the course of the last 5 years with this program has been outstanding. We talked about it earlier about how they went from a D3 school up to now the FCS level and being a really good FCS football team.
And believe the runners-up at FCS 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So really they've, again, have got themselves going. And, again, an area that has so much talent. If you can mind it, you can always have a good football team. Tauber, again, talking about some talent, showed off his wares so far in this game, looking for the swing pass, and he's got something, got a big gain. Flag's going to go down if the play holds up. The completion to Justin Prim should give the white team a first down, but let's see what the flag is.
Great play call versus pressure. You want to isolate the one-on-one matchups. Backs versus linebackers is a matchup that the running back should win every time. Speaking as a former running back, he should win that every time. He was wide open, caught the football, but that was a great stop by the defensive back to stop for a minimal gain, or for a big gain, to stop it in its tracks.
I'm going to say offensive pass interference. So I'm assuming.
Looks like a pick by number 6 was able to pick off that corner. That's Johnson, I believe. Kind of held a block there, which is why the guy couldn't get over there. But
And, of course, that kind of came to prominence last year, that game Notre Dame and Florida State, where Notre Dame on the goal line got called for the pick. And, there's an art to that play. Usually, obviously you got a little more football coaching experience than I do, but you try and tell the kids, just make it like basketball. Just get in their way. It's not the full-on hit.
Right, and if you're gonna hit them, just play like you were running your route. Just try to run through them and get up and keep running, but don't stop and block the guy.
That's going to move it all the way back to the 30-yard line, so they need to take it down to the 45 of the Red Squad for a first down. Tough task for Tauber as goes back out of the shotgun, going to throw it deep, and this one almost picked off. Could have been, it looked like, but just sailing over the head of defensive back Mackay Self. So he just lets it go. If he had a chance at it, probably better off to go let it go. And, again, it'll be a punting time for the White Squad.
Yeah, you have to ask the receiver to run through that route. You want to be able to continue to run because you see Tauber's waiting, and the receiver kind of rounded off, didn't think he was getting the football, and slowed down. That's why you see the overthrow. You want to run through that route and be able to make a play on it.
I believe he's looking for Asher Titus on that one. So, again, on to punt. And doing the punting and kicking duties for both sides. Bentley Faulkner out of Greensboro, the Grimsley High School product, with a nice kick here. This one again going to bounce, then takes a left turn, and it'll be stopped at about the 35-yard line right there by number 27, Mackay Self. So that's where the red team will scrimmage from.
They do a great job of squeezing that space, getting there, making that a tough window for the quarterback, and that's how they were able to force that incomplete pass.
Sean Johnson on the coverage. Johnson, a product of Linden, New Jersey. As we said, a lot of guys from New Jersey in this game. Just a quick hop down. That's where you made your hop down from, correct?
Correctly. A 3-hour drive, not bad at all.
4 wides on this 3rd and long. And sack, and this one's going to count. And again, it's the guy we've been eyeing up the entire game. Emory, Brian Bond with another big play.
Bond is well on his way to getting player of the game because Bond has been a disruptive force throughout the course of the early part of this game. But you see right there, the quarterback, he saw something late. He saw this guy coming across. He saw the open receiver in the slot, wanted to go to him as he came to his third option. But as we know, you have to get rid of that football. You only have so many seconds in the pocket before you're going to get pressure, and that's what happened. He took a sack.
And Cook kind of laid there for a little bit, may have gone down on his shoulder, and it looked almost like his offensive linemen were waving at the sidelines, come check him out. But to his credit, tough kid, he got right back up and got off the field. And again, Brian Bond, a lot of big weight coming down right there again. But we saw the technique, though, there. Again, we talked about his hands. Really impressed with that as he was able to just discard that offensive tackle there and get to the quarterback.
Yeah, he's a guy that's a junior coming up this year, which is outstanding play. In Upper Montclair, that's around my area, I'm definitely going to have to go check him out during this football season.
Yeah, if he plays like this, he's going to be a fun one to watch. Again, Faulkner kicking for both teams. This one a pretty good one. He's going to take it all the way out to the 35-yard line. It'll be caught there, and the red team will go ahead and scrimmage from there. Sports Authority, the official sporting goods provider of USA football. Of course, the regional development camps. Then you get to the U.S. national team development games, one of 5 right here, the last one of them. And then if you get past that level, you go to represent the U.S. in the International Bowl, international competition at the International Bowl and the IFAF World Championship. So, again, this is the last of the development games. They had 2 in the Canton area, 1 down in Texas in College Station, also had 1 in Los Angeles. So it's really kind of the last step before the national team guys are chosen and they move on that way. So, again, it's a big day for these guys. This is really your last shot to show what you can do and kind of make your last stand.
And what I really love about this is that it's competition at every step, from the development camps to the games to the regional camps. Everywhere you go, you're going to have to compete, and that just helps them carry over into their regular life, as an individual.
And we see it at some levels where, guys, not about the competition, they kind of get in there and guys are moving away. These guys all competitors, all guys. You look at some of the stuff, you look at the bios, some of these guys have just, some high achievement guys out there and all love the game of football. Handoff up the middle, going to be a minimal gain for Prim. We brought down after 1, and they're looking to go ahead and push the tempo.
And that was right there by Brian Bond, once again, staying at home, not being fooled, not biting down on the dive play and making the tackle.
Interesting two tight end formation. Now back to throw. And incomplete, looking deep for Ryan Rogu, that is, and he can't go ahead and complete the pass. Actually, that pass intended, believe, for James McCloskey.
And that was a great play by the defender. He made that throw tougher than it had to be because he forced the quarterback to place that football closer to the hash where he really didn't want to put it. But that was a great job by the defensive back. And you want to see him turn around and find the football a little bit, but just being able to force a bad throw, it's a great thing.
So another timeout here with 29 seconds to go and looking at 3rd and 9. Need to take it down to the 31 for a first down. We had the intended receiver on the last play, James McCloskey, was actually listed in the programs as a defensive lineman. But, again, you see so many guys here that are two-way players. They can do a little bit of everything. So seeing him get a little chance at tight end, not a shock.
And the fact that he's a 2018 kid and he has that ability to play both D and tight end, colleges want to see that. They want to see what more can you do. And the more you can do, whether it's playing running back, like we saw Garlick, and then lining up in the slot. You want to see guys do multiple things, and that just makes you that much more marketable to these colleges out there.
So 3rd and 9, 4 wide receiver set. Looked like the Red Squad had an extra guy on the field. They run one off late, no penalty there. Tauber back to throw. Some pressure coming in, going to throw this one deep, and this time actually was looking for Rogu. Incomplete, and decision time for the white team with not a lot of time left on the clock.
Well, Team White loves that flag route. They've ran it, I would say maybe 6 times so far this game, trying to hit the tight end on an arrow route or a corner route, however you want to call it. But again, the timing isn't there like you would see from a regular season game because these guys have only been together for a week, and we don't know how often they've practiced reps with one another. So that could be something that's factored in as well.
4th and 9, need to get it to the 31 for a first down. 4 wide receiver set, 1 back in the backfield alongside Tauber. That is Justin Prim. Tauber, wide snap, going to pick it up. Pressure coming again, this time looking down the sidelines and incomplete. Looking intended for Aaron Johnson, but broken up. That time getting in the way, Zachary Thomas not letting that ball get through.
And again, great coverage on the defensive side of the ball. And you look at Coach Cowgill's background. He's a defensive coordinator for this football team, and they've been playing excellent defense at every level. Linebackers, secondary has been covering well and press. They've been one-on-one throughout the course of this game. And you see right there a safety, deep safety closing in on the ball, knocking it away.
It's been a pretty impressive half by the Red Squad, Emory, and they've really been able to get some drives going and then, more importantly, finish those drives.
Well, you look at the defensive line like we talked about in the beginning. Brian Bond has done an excellent job, and that defense has been aggressive on the Red Squad. You want to see the white team come out in the second half, be a little bit more aggressive, throwing the football downfield, maybe switch it up and try to find ways to move the football.
Of course, one of the big initiatives of USA football, besides the development game, so many things they do, but of course one of the big ones, heads-up football, the tackling technique they teach here to all, trying to teach it and spread it across America, all folks coaching football,
influenced by what the defense
take a look and learn more about heads-up football. Richard Cardacci gets called for it. See Chris Merritt, the head coach of the White Squad, of course played at Indiana, was the head coach at Columbus High School from 2001 to present. Also played for the Hamburg Blue Devils, and again was a Coach of the Year finalist for both in Dade County and the Miami Dolphins. So again, a guy who's coached a pretty high level, sharing his knowledge out here today. Tauber trying to get to the outside. He'll step out of bounds after a nice gain of about 8 on the play.
What was interesting was looking at Brian Bond again. Forcing him to go to the outside is forcing him to get to the sideline. He actually was able to pursue well after redirecting, flattening out, great pursuit angle to try to get him to pin to that sideline and actually made the play. Great play by Tauber, but even better play by Bond.
Yeah, Brian Bond obviously showing his wares today. Danny Cowgill, the head coach of the Red Team, played at Lenore Rhine in North Carolina, been the head coach at Daphne High School, just started last year, but you see all the schools he's been at. Another high-level coach out there for these guys. Handoff up the middle on the give, and it's going to be very close to the sticks as Speltz with the carry.
It's been death by 1,000 cuts right now coming out of the half. This is a great opening drive for Team White. Again, this is how you fight pressure. You run right at it. You attack it where it's coming from, and they've done a great job this drive coming out of out of halftime.
Let's send it back down to the field to our Jack Feely.
Hey guys, as you can tell by the scoreboard, 14-0 in favor of Danny Cowgill's squad. It's easy to say that momentum is favoring the Red squad right now as we begin, or as we continue to claw our way through the third quarter. I had a chance to sneak into the Merritt defensive huddle where I overheard assistant coach Mike Kerper really imploring his team to wake up and ratchet up the intensity, whether that's bursting off the line quicker or being able to just get some team camaraderie. When I walked over, you could literally hear a pin drop. It was so silent. So Kerper trying to ratchet up the intensity and trying to get his team back into this game any which way he can.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, and looks like Coach Merritt's message has been received, Emery, looking for a little more intensity. His team really getting one of their better drives of the game so far.
And you saw in the previous play, going back to that slant in the bubble at the top of the screen, he put great placement on the ball to where the receiver had to catch it on his outside shoulder, which kept him safe from the defender.
Tauber going to keep it on the read option up the middle. Again, it'll be close to the sticks. And again, you almost have to wonder, Emery, at this point, since Tauber looks like they may be going with him the rest of the way, is he getting into a rhythm because he's getting a chance to play multiple series in a row?
That's a great point you made right there because, again, these games, whether it be all-star or development games, guys are splitting reps. They don't get that continuity within the series, and he's doing that, and you see him get into a groove. You also see the offensive line get into a groove because we haven't said how great the defensive line of Team Red has been in this second half because Team White has done a great job firing off the football. They're controlling the tempo and pace right now in this game.
And a first down there by Tauber, again leading his team down the field, looking for their first score of the game, joined in the backfield by Speltz. Tauber looking to throw over the middle. This one almost picked off. It was trying to get that one in to Rashawn Bray. Instead, almost picked off by Tyler Honey.
Tyler Honey out of Old Bridge, New Jersey, Central Jersey kid. Ball hit him in the stomach. He wished he has that play back because, again, he was following his man. He was following the receiver, but the ball came whizzing through, and it could have been a big play. That's the type of play you have to make defensively because right now the team is on their heels.
Honey, as you mentioned, a Jersey guy out of Old Bridge, also a wrestler. See a lot of that here. A lot of the defensive linemen, a lot of the linebackers come off the wrestling mats. And, again, you learn so many of those skills of leverage when it comes to wrestling, and some of these guys are showing it very well today. Tauber going to keep up the middle. He's going to be grabbed by Bond and pulled back, and Bond doing his buddy a solid, doesn't throw him all the way back, just holds his progress.
Bond is a guy that I've seen, 12 minutes into this game and into this second half, or 8 minutes into the second half, and he's a guy that has great football IQ. He doesn't get fooled by fakes. He doesn't get fooled by influence. He's always where he's supposed to be, and he's making a play. He's a good football player.
Tell you, Bond's definitely got to be a candidate for defensive player of the game. Had a sack earlier on, really has been in the backfield, and as you mentioned, even plays where he's gotten beat, he showed the hustle to make up for it later on, and at least keeping it from becoming a very big gain.
Well-coached kid, man.
3rd and 10 here. Tauber going to roll to his left, looking for something open. Bond in his face. That's going to be incomplete, and again, making another big play is number 74, Brian Bond.
And Speltz, I feel you on that one, my man. You're a running back, and they ask you to go out and attack the defensive lineman, especially one that has been playing well like Bond. It's a tough task to do. He did what he could, but not enough to where Bond didn't disrupt that pass.
So now we'll see the first real test for Bentley Faulkner in this contest as he'll look to go ahead and kick a field goal. Remember, no rush on this, but it will be a lengthy kick. Going to spot it down at about the 32-yard line. So it will be a 32-yarder, and they'll kick it from almost at the right hash mark.
Kickers are worth their weight in gold if they can hit these long-distance kicks.
You see the red team jumping up and down, trying to distract. Faulkner will kick this one through. Should have the distance, but it is wide to the left, so the white team still able to get on the scoreboard. It's going to be Nathan Floysand, his first action of the matchup.
And Floyd Sanders has had a really good week out here with the coaching staff. One of the guys they spotlighted as a player to watch and who has been having a great week. So excited to see him play.
Floyd Sand out of Cottage Grove, Minnesota, goes to Park High School. And he'll get his first action of the matchup. Handoff up the middle. Looked like it could be a big gainer for a second, and then stuffed in the hole, as there'll be a minimal gain there for the white squad.
Yeah, Matthew Matrakas out of Tuckahoe, New York, a Long Island kid making a great play, filling that gap and then stopping the running back in his tracks.
So gain of 1 on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 9. We'll see what type of pace. Looked like he had a pretty good pace going for the white squad earlier in the half, and we'll see with the new quarterback and how fast they're able to go. That last carry made by Brennan Richardson, the running back out of West Creek, New Jersey. Under 30 seconds to play here in the third quarter. White team looking for their first score of the game. 3 wide receivers for Nathan Floysand. Looking over the red team defense with a big defensive line. Floysand going to be brought down, and again, it's the guy we've talked about all game long, Brian Bond, with a big hit.
Bond does a great job beating his block and getting to the quarterback, and you saw the play they were trying to set up on that one. They tight formation, they had the back offset to the right. So what they were trying to do is get the back on a wheel route, run a slant with the receiver, and the back was open, but you have to have time to hit that play. That's a long developing play, and they didn't have the time because of Bond.
Red team with a 14-0 lead on the white team after the end of 3 quarters. Let's take a quick break here at Towson.
I got plans to pick myself up.
I will gain trust.
I'm gonna earn everything I get.
I got plans to command your respect.
I've got plans to push my limits.
Hut!
I got plans to be great.
Let's go, get in.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Siege Sports, the official uniform provider of the U.S. national teams. Also brought to you by Physio Control, the official AED provider of USA football. Right now, the red team with a 14-0 lead on the white team here in our USA football development games. Of course, the white team coached by Chris Merritt, the red team coached by Danny Cowgill. Actually, the team official names in our paperwork is Team Cowgill and Team Merritt, but to keep it easy for the folks at home, kind of going with the red and the white.
And you look at that defensive line awakening the last few plays for Team Red. I don't know if that's because of the new quarterback or just because they got coached up on the sideline and having to do a better job in this second drive, and I think it's a little bit of both.
So Floysand will come back out. His first action of the game after most of it taken. The first half was split between Ben Tauber and Weston Cook. Cook went down after a big sack, and then Tauber had taken most of the reps, actually all the reps in the second half, but now seeing Floysand getting a chance to go ahead and show off what he can do. 4 wide receivers. Floysand back to throw, looking deep. Trying to connect. That one's going to be incomplete. Don't know if he would have got his foot down anyway, but was looking for Aaron Johnson. Couldn't make the connection.
You like Floysand going down the sideline, being aggressive, going for the first down. If this was Canada, it would have been a complete pass because he had a little bit more room to work with, but that's a great job of the defensive back to recover and pin that receiver to the sideline.
On the coverage there. Number 27, Mackay Self, one of the local guys out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, plays for St. John's College High School, one of the top programs in the Washington, D.C. area.
It's a great play by a guy that's in the 10th grade, going into the 10th grade to recover and then pin the receiver to the sideline.
Floysand going to pitch at the prim. Faulkner again on to punt. He'll go ahead, take a pop, and his helmet will come off, and he'll be knocked out of bounds just across the 40, down around the 36.
We haven't said these guys' names a lot, but the cornerbacks for the red team have been doing an excellent job because they haven't been able to throw the football with effectiveness or any type of consistency as Team White. But the cornerbacks have done a great job. That's a good thing that we haven't been able to call their names. And it's a good run right here. Just trying to get positive yards. You want to keep that helmet on. But good job getting outside.
Prim's going to go out of the game. And into the contest will be Jonathan Speltz. Speltz and Prim have split most of the time at running back today for the white team. Floysand tried to throw, not there. And again, Brian Bond with another sack. A whale of a game for Brian Bond today. That one a bit easier than the other one he got earlier in the game, but again, just as effective.
If Bond is playing like this and he plays this way throughout the course of the season, he's going to be an All-American. This is a guy that has done a great job versus the run, versus the pass, getting pressure, in pursuit. Every level of defensive line play, technique-wise, we've seen from him. We've seen good technique. So he's been an impressive player in this ball game.
Yeah, definitely. I think our odds-on choice for the player of the game, that he would be the one on the defensive side of things, as he really has got it done in all phases of the defense. Third down here, third and long for the white squad. Floyd-Sand back to pass, looking to go deep, trying to get a play here, and he will get one all the way down and will have first down yardage at the 20-yard line. Great adjustment by Aaron Johnson to get the big play.
Yeah, Aaron Johnson did a great job seeing the football and understanding, like, hey, I have to make a play. We have to generate something big for our offense. Coming back to the football. Defensive back was in great position, but his back is turned to the ball. Johnson coming back and making a play.
The underthrow by Floyd-Sand, very effective, as Johnson out of Joppa, Maryland, able to go ahead and make a big play there. Johnson actually was on a team last year that won the 2A Maryland state title and finished number one in the DC metro area. So he's been a guy hand it off to Richardson up the middle, get a positive gain, spinning forward, stays on his feet. It'll be brought down after a gain of 8. And Coach Merritt waving his guys up, say, hey, we got to move with a little bit of pace.
A little up-tempo right here, but good run right there by Richardson.
Hand off to Richardson. He'll be hit and brought down, and I think he's short, and that should do it, as the red team should get the ball on downs after a stop by their defense.
Yeah, that was a pretty good stop. Once again, red team doing what they have to do, getting off the ball. And it looks like Brian Bond was in the mix as far as disrupting that play as well.
Actually going to say it's a first down. Looked like from the original spot he didn't get there, but they say first down. So 8 seconds left. The white team's going to get at least one more play, and they'll run the clock right here. Tauber looking deep, trying to hook up. That one's not going to be completed, through it way out of bounds, looking for Johnson down the sidelines, and that's going to do it as the clock strikes 0 in our first of our 3 development games in the books, as the red team beats the white team 21-7 in what was a good show of strength by the red squad, Emory.
Absolutely. You saw in that last play, Brian Bond once again disrupting the throw, forcing him to go deep down the sideline and made it an inaccurate pass, ending the game how he started it with a big play.
Yeah, and again, seeing the teams shaking at midfield, and again, this is about development and all kinds of good things, but again, about USA football, you see the board of directors and so many big names there, like Carl Peterson, of course, the former Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman, Kansas City Chiefs general manager, I should say. Mark Murphy of the Green Bay Packers also played for the Washington Redskins. Grant Taff, of course, as well. Wonderful board of directors. Of course, our production crew, great job on our first game. We see it today, all their hard work. Looking very good, this broadcast we're able to bring to you. Again, for Emory Hunt, I'm Jeremy Huber. Your final score, the red team beats the white team 21-7 here at the USA Development Games.